Hey guys, welcome back to Film Title. Today we'll talk about 8 super embarrassing moments on my 600-pound life. Let's head into it. Number 5. Shani Murray. When viewers first met Shani Murray on my 600-pound life, she was deeply sad about suffering 2 miscarriages, which is totally understandable. That experience can be extremely traumatic to not just the person who endures one, but her partner as well, given that she was also sexually abused by a cousin when she was very young. It's no wonder she turned to food for comfort. But there's hope, as Murray went to Dr. Now to help her get both her life and her weight back under control. But alas, she was unwilling and unable to stop compulsively overeating, despite her claims of gaining water weight. Something Dr. Now pointed out was clearly not the case. Murray was never approved for weight loss surgery. She continued to eat foods that were not on Dr. Now's program, including a famously illicit pizza, and never dealt with her underlying emotional issues. Despite leaving Dr. Now's care, Murray set up a GoFundMe for her weight loss surgery. She later filmed herself doing an eating challenge from her hospital bed. Oof. Number 4. James King. Some patients on my 600-pound life are so far gone that they're almost completely immobile, unable to care for themselves and confined to their bed because of their weight. That was the case for James King, who weighed in at 791 pounds at the beginning of the episode, as he used food to cope with his childhood trauma. But it's hard to have too much sympathy for King, as throughout the episode, it's shown that he behaved selfishly. For one, he had his daughter drop out of school so he could take care of him, and his father, despite the fact that he suffered a stroke, took out a second mortgage to finance his son's journey to Houston. But King refused to change. He was continually enabled by his girlfriend, Lisa, who couldn't stop bringing him food. It was so bad that Dr. Now called Adult Protective Services on her when he found out she brought him food in the hospital. In his follow-up episode, even though King had multiple organs failing him, King had a GoFundMe page set up, but it's no longer active. Number 3. Mercedes Cephas. One of all of the stars on my 600-pound life, Mercedes Cephas' story is among the most heartbreaking. She was only 11 years old. Her father began sexually abusing her, which caused her to have feelings of shame, guilt, and sadness. By the time she was 15 years old, she was up to 300 pounds, and using food to help her deal with the trauma of her assaults. Obviously, this had a huge impact on her life, but when confronted about her eating habits by Dr. Now, Cephas insisted she wasn't overeating, said she wasn't just eating the right foods, even at 773 pounds. And when she finally did move to Houston months later, she had only dropped just under 50 pounds. Subsequently, she gained weight, showing she was clearly not following Dr. Now's program. And by the end of the episode, after she had only lost around 80 pounds altogether, Dr. Now was adamant that she be admitted into the hospital, giving her 3 days to decide. Number 2. Angela Gutierrez. When viewers first met Angela Gutierrez on her episode of My 600-Pound Life, it was readily apparent that she had been through a lot, having lost custody of her children due to child endangerment and attempting to take her own life. Gutierrez lost herself down the rabbit hole of compulsive overeating. By the time she made the journey to Dr. Now with her ex-boyfriend, she weighed in at 608 pounds, in spite of the fact she'd had weight loss surgery before, a rarity on the show. But when Dr. Now charged her to lose weight by following his diet plan, Gutierrez faltered, unable to comply with his demands. She started missing appointments, eventually dropped out of the program altogether, and returned to her home in Ohio, but she still had one more check-in with Dr. Now. She did via video chat. In it, she told him that she had lost 120 pounds, to which he responded that she's delusional. That's never a good sign. Gutierrez updates her Facebook page regularly, but it's unclear if she's lost any weight since her episode. Number 1. Cynthia Wells. When the camera started rolling for Cynthia Wells' episode of My 600-Pound Life, her loneliness was palpable, but as a single mom of 5 children, she also had a ton of responsibility, something that was becoming more difficult because of her weight. At 610 pounds, Wells was becoming less motivated to leave the house, and more exhausted when she had to move. When it came to following Dr. Now's program, however, Wells wasn't willing to be compliant for very long. She managed to earn herself a reputation of being one of the most bullheaded stars of My 600-Pound Life during her tenure on the show, at one point calling Dr. Now's program bullshit and returning home to Oklahoma City. By the end of her episode, Wells' weight loss had stalled, and she was deep in denial about her emotional eating habits. Fortunately, things were better in her follow-up episode, as Wells seemed much happier. She continued to lose weight and was down to 361 pounds. A big improvement. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.